We have to fight for our freedom, we have to stand up. And it's amazing when you consider that at our age, we are actually the rebels in this country. We are the rebels. Imagine at our age.
What brings you out here today?
People are being not allowed to speak, their voice is being cut, their views are being cut, Facebook, nobody, they're all cut and they're blocking you. And I believe people have a right to have their own say. Whether we like it or not, they have a right, and as Irish people, we have a right to say if we're not happy with something, to stand up and say it without being criticised or being blocked or made to feel ashamed that we have an opinion. And we want our lives back, and I understand the government didn't create this, what's going on, but what they're doing is wrong, and what their taxes is wrong, and I think it's just a lot of control and scare taxes. I think they're using a lot of scare taxes to frighten people into giving up your complete control over something that I don't believe is as bad as we're being made to believe.
We're here to basically protest against the government, against the lockdown, against mask wearing, and all the restrictions. We just want to go back to normal, basically.
To be honest with you, I'm here for freedom, and I think it's allowed. I deserve the right to be anywhere. I think everybody else should do the same. I mean, we can be locked down for over 6 months and not able to do anything.
I came today to protest against masks and lockdown, because it's bad for economy, it's bad for people, for health, the masks especially. Lots of companies were closed. Also, many people lost jobs. People cannot travel, cannot go for holidays. So that's bad as well. All the industry, tourist industry is very bad at the moment.
Today I'm here for justice for the elderly, because during the lockdown from March to July there was 1,100 elderly people more or less killed. They were denied COVID testing, then they're denied medication and treatment. They're also denied dignity and company in their deaths from the loved ones that they had. And there's been no criminal investigations into these deaths in the nursing homes, and no calls for justice for the elderly.
How do you think the government has handled particularly the nursing homes and the vulnerable categories that you described?
It's a total scandal. It's an unbelievable scandal. And then they have the audacity to turn around Micheál Martin, and I could call him something else, but I won't. He has actually come out and said, we're not going to have any inquiry into anything. And here we knew they didn't protect the care homes at all. They put people from the hospitals, in order to clear the hospitals out, to put them with COVID, who are tested positive, put them into the care homes, killed off the people, and there's absolutely no inquiry. This has to be looked at seriously. We have to do something about this as a state. It's a crying shame and a scandal. It'll be like in the future, in 20, 30 years' time, the future generations will hold us to account for a complete and total lack of care and love for the people now.
What would you think of the government's handling of things like the care homes and the nursing homes?
I think it's disgraceful. I absolutely think it's disgraceful. I think they locked them away, and the way they treated people in the nursing homes, I just think it was horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
It's like an abomination of what they have done. I have an elderly mother myself. I would never put her into a nursing home ever, because of what is going on here in this country. It's disgusting how they're being treated.
Just if the government would focus on the nursing homes, the other people would cope with without any symptoms. Even if they get sick, there is no symptoms, so only the older people should be protected especially. But they didn't, so lots of people died.
From at the end of February, when we first got the news and was coming in from China, you have to use your common sense. I said, what's going on here? So I investigated it, and I found out about it, and I researched it and so on. Okay, first thing I found out, it affects older people and people with underlying issues. And they are the real vulnerable category, The rest are fine. And then, was lockdown ever done on anything before? No. So immediately I knew, there's something wrong here. from the start, I knew lockdown was. It's just crazy. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
To be honest, I think it's done a lot more harm than good. I understand it had, like, at some stage, yeah, okay, when we didn't know how bad things were, locked people down, I get it. I just think letting people from other countries coming into their country, I mean, that was a little bit of a kick in the teeth for people who were in lockdown, and they let a lot of people coming in from different countries, and so I think it was a little bit extreme. I think with the mental health care, it affects your mental health, physical health, and to be honest, the government didn't do nothing. They just put us into lockdown and said us be quiet, don't move, don't go out, checking your whereabouts. I mean, there my stepdad, partly blind, going to the chemist, getting medicine, got checked by Gardaí, checked his phone, went through all his details, and he only went from 5-minute walk, stroll to get his medicine back home in lockdown, no problem with that. So he followed the rules, and then there he is being checked by where his whereabouts is and where he's been. And I just think that was it's a bit extreme. It was unnecessary to block down. And then hearing about being in lockdown again, I just think it's going to cripple our country, and it's going to cripple more people. It's going to do more damage and more harm than good.
This mask wearing, social distancing, total lockdown, pubs closed. We're sociable people. Our natural heritage is to socialise, to tell stories, to gather, to be united. They're trying to strip that away from us.
I mean, when you look at it, there you have Dr. Marcus de Brun. He's now being investigated by the Medical Council because he has come out. They're saying it's because he came to a protest like this. The reality is because he came out and he's calling them out, calling the medical people out on what they've done wrong, on their silence. He's calling them out, and now he's being investigated. You're not allowed to speak out only for their narrative, and that's the sin. Yeah. We need to be able to have freedom of speech, freedom to debate, and freedom to say that this needs to stop.